Hey team, welcome to this video. Here I'm going to take you through the enhancements that we've rolled out in link reporting in the past 2 weeks, and then after that I'll take you through a wireframe that we've designed, which is for the job profitability report. So for me, this is sort of the last report that we need to get link reporting finished, I suppose. There's a lot of enhancements that we still want to do, but this is the last key report because at the moment there is no way to run a profitability report on jobs in link reporting. The reason that we have held off on this is because it is a big build. We need 5 different data tables in order to give the information that you need to make the right decisions. So rather than cutting corners and half building the report, we wanted to wait until we've finished all of the WIP and the team stuff before we get into these job reports. So that's why they have taken a little bit longer to get into production. But I've got the wireframe designed. I'm about to start writing all the code for it, and we hope to have that finished in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So let's jump into link reporting now. I'll take you through those enhancements, and then we'll check out that wireframe. Right, so here we are in the WIP movement report. Now, the first thing that I want to point out that we have rolled out is we can now export all reports to PDF, CSV, or Excel. So if you want to export a report, choose the report format. It's going to default to having your email address as you are logged in, but you can always enter extra ones in here and then hit enter to save it. And then you can hit download. And what that will do is it'll send an email through to your inbox with that report. So if we go check it out, you'll see here, if I go to link reporting, download the report, just like that. So there's my WIP report. So this can take around about sort of maybe 5 to maybe 10 seconds to send through to your inbox, so it's not a long wait there. Now, the next thing I want to show you is if we click on Aaron Atkinson, start drilling down into this data, all of these fields now are clickable. So if we want to know what made up this 3,692.59 for opening WIP, I can now click into this. It opens up a new tab for me, and it shows me all the transactions that make up that opening WIP balance. Now, I can also hit show all, and it's going to show me all of the transactions that make up that WIP movement report. So you can see your opening WIP, time, cost, invoice, write-ups, write-offs, and your closing WIP balance there. Now, there's one thing that I have asked the team to change here, which is the pagination. At the moment, you can see there's about 10 lines per page. I've asked them to either remove the pagination altogether or do 200 lines per page, because I think this isn't enough I think the user experience could be a lot nicer here. So I've asked them to do that, and hopefully in the next couple of days that'll all be rolled out. Now, the next thing that I'd like to show you is in the team performance report. So we have added a new field here, which is average hourly rate, which is a really, really key metric to be tracking. So your average hourly rate is your revenue divided by your total time worked. So then you can see what your average hourly rate is. You can see them on a staff member level, and also you can see here for the whole organization, we're at $72.66. Now, next thing I want to show you is the individual summary. We now have total write-ups showing the individual summary, and all of this data is now clickable. So if we want to click on, let's say, the non-billable time back in April, opens up a new tab for me with a full breakdown of those timesheet entries, and you can hover over and see what that time was as well. So it's every bit of data in link reporting. You can click right down to a transactional level with the timesheet note. So that's really, really cool. So that is where we're at. Those are the enhancements we've rolled out in the past 2 weeks. We've got about another week of enhancements to roll out before we start work on the job profitability report. So I've designed the wireframe. The next thing is I need to write the code for that, and the team will implement that code. So let's check out that wireframe. So here we go. So this is in Adobe XD, which is the wireframe software that I use. So the first thing to point out here is we are making some changes to the way that our groupings and our criteria and our filters work. At the moment, there's a lot of drop downs, and it's getting a little bit confusing. The more criteria and filters that we add, it's creating a lot of clutter. So what we're going to have is these dynamic fields here. So if I hit add criteria, it's going to give me a pop-up with all the criteria we can use in this report. Let's say it's profit margin percent. We click on that, then it'll pop up saying profit margin percent is, and I can choose less than, equal to, greater than, and then put the percentage in. And again, profit margin dollars, less than 500. So for this example here in this wireframe, what we'd be looking at is jobs that we haven't made our projected margin on. So if we haven't made the money that we're expecting, we want to show up in this report. So what we can use this for is going and updating our clients' fees. We might want to lift our clients' fees that we haven't made good margin on. This is a great way to do it. You just select your date, put your criteria in. We've also got filters, so we can just add a filter, gives you a pop-up with all the different filters you can use, click the one that you want, and then you can go multi-select, let's say the job managers there. So we're trying to make that a really, really nice experience for creating your reports. Now, moving down here, this is the report for the job profitability. Oh, just one other thing, as we're looking at rolling out this type of these filters and criteria, we're going to roll that out to all the other reports in the system as well. So once we've designed it for this, we'll then be rolling out for our WIP reports and our staff reports and everything else. Now, job profitability. So this is the report that we have created. So as you can see here, we've got at the top level, which is our first grouping, is our job manager. Then we've got our client group. Then from there, from your client group, you've got your clients under that client group that have been completed within that date. Now, what you can do is hit plus. If you hit plus, it's going to give you a drop down of all the tasks and costs on that job. So you can see here we've got our annual accounts. So just zoom in slightly for you. Annual accounts, you've got your estimated time, you've got your actual time, and then over or under. So you can see if you've gone over budget on your time. Then we've got our estimated cost, our budget, and our estimated margin. Now, our budget is going to be picked up from our quote. So if we were to quote annual accounts and we put 2,800 against that task, that's where that budget is going to be populated from. Now, if we do not have a quote in the system for this job, what we'll use is the budget field. So if we put a budget amount in the job, we're then going to take that amount and apportion it across those estimated times there to calculate the budget amount at a task level. So the logic goes, if there is a quote, grab the quoted amount for that line item. If there is no quote, take the budgeted amount and then apportion it across the estimated times. So we don't have to have quotes in the system in order for our budget to work here. So the estimated cost, that's obviously going to come through from the quoted task if you have a quote. If not, we're going to have a projected margin that we're going to put in link reporting, and that's going to calculate your estimated costs there. Now, what we've got here is our actual cost on the job, so that's based on the base rate of your timesheets. You've got what's billable, and then what is invoiced, and then from there it'll have the write-up or the write-off, and then our write-up as a percentage. So why these are highlighted red is because they have met certain criteria. So if it meets the criteria, it's going to highlight red, or it'll highlight green if it's greater than. So what we want to be doing is making it really easy to see what information has met your criteria in the report. Then we've got our profit and then our profit percentage. Now what's really cool about this report is it's like the job financial summary within XPM, but we've got some extra fields in here, such as the write-up percentages and our profit percentages at a line item level. But what's more is we can include multiple jobs in here. So we might want to run this report for the last 3 years, then run it for a certain client or a client group. And then we can group it and we can see all the different jobs and we can combine them into one report. So it's really powerful. So we can go from a client group level right down to the client level, down to the job level, and then down to an actual task level. And that's why it is quite a big build for us, because we're having to use 5 different data tables to get all this information in one place. So I would love your feedback on this. If there's any ideas you'd have, I'd love to hear them. And I hope you enjoy the enhancements that we've just rolled out. So we're hoping to have this report live. What are we now? End of July, August, let's say mid-September, we'd hope to have this job profitability report live. Then we'll look at rolling out these filters and criterias, or the format that we're using across all the reports in the system. So any feedback you've got, would love to hear it. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video.